Does your drum MIDI look like this? Your drum programming needs work. Hey guys, Joey here, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to write unique and realistic drum parts with a drum sampler. This technology is totally capable of creating realistic drum sounds, but you've got to know what you're doing first. Here's a few starting points. Number 1, think like a drummer. Here's a great way to get into the mindset of a drummer. Use the MIDI lane in your DAW to transcribe real drum parts to your session. Go as deep as you can with this. Every symbol, articulation, and ghost note is important. Once you've done this, you'll be much closer to understanding how drummers think. Don't have the time to write out a song's worth of drums? Then try this method. Use MIDI grooves for inspiration. MIDI grooves are a simple way for getting into the mindset of a drummer. Many modern drum samplers include grooves written and performed by real drummers. Take Drumforge Matt Greiner for instance. This tab here has tons of grooves that Matt wrote and performed on an E-kit. Load one into your DAW and pay attention to the timings, velocities, and note choice. Think you've got the composition down? Then it's time for the next step. A quick way to tell if your drum part is unrealistic is to air drum along to it. This sounds silly, but it really works. Remember that you're working with 2 arms and 2 feet, so hitting 8 notes at the same time just isn't possible. Another way to add realism is to picture the drum set in your mind. Try to imagine getting around the kit. If you're programming 30-second notes at 200 beats per minute and you have to go from a floor tom to a hi-hat, a real drummer may not be able to move around the kit that quick. If you've never played drums, look at how some of your favorite musicians set up their drum kit and take some notes. Okay, enough philosophy. Here's some concrete examples of how to improve your drum realism. I know, putting a MIDI value of 127 on every note sounds awesome and huge, but it's a dead giveaway to the listener that your drums are programmed. Once you've got a realistic part written, use different velocity layers to provide accents, momentum, and dynamics in your drums. And just so this video isn't 20 years long, I'm going to show you one more tip to make sure that your drums stand out. This tip gets dangerous, so use it with caution. When you go see a real drummer, they're not perfect. Even the best drummers hit a few milliseconds off the grid. A good place to try this in your mix is with kicks and snares. If you've got a 4-on-the-floor rhythm, try offsetting one of the snares just slightly. This makes it sound a little bit more like somebody played it and less like somebody programmed it. And that's it. To get more realistic drum programming, pay attention to the composition, the velocities, and the dynamics of your MIDI. Practice those fundamentals and watch your drum tracks come alive. Looking for a drum sampler that can sound ultra realistic right out of the box? Check out Drumforge Matt Greiner. This sampler includes features like multi-sampled layers, left and right hand samples, and automatic left and right alternating samples. Not to mention, the samples sound great. So download your copy of Drumforge Matt Greiner today at the world's best online source for professional drum sounds and software, drumforge.com.